right, hello, you lovelies, and welcome to KoiCast. I am Koi Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, people, comic books, and most things in general. I like stuff, but here we are talking about the pop culture side and the comic side of things in a weird time for pop culture, joined as ever by the illustrious, the inimitable, the only Jake Lloyd Bacon. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, Koi Jandro. How are you?
I'm good. I'm definitely like, it's a weird season, man.
It is. I just realized that my laptop is
couldn't see ya.
Kind of in between us.
And I also
right now.
I looked up and then I looked over and I had nothing. I had like a no TV and I had just a screen.
We usually have a studio monitor set up here. That monitor is no longer there.
In case I forget my name.
We'll talk in a minute about why things are disheveled.
But what's funny is I always thought it was funny to have that until it was gone and I went, oh. And
you thought like it was silly?
I thought it was
unnecessary?
like, no, I have times I've needed it, but I've always been like, it's silly that I need it.
Right.
And then when I looked up, I'm like, no. I did because I forgot.
There's a reason why the professionals use cue cards and all the fun stuff.
I like cue cards. They're a respite.
It's safety net.
It's good to have.
Yeah.
And I just learned that in real time. But it is a weird season out here in LA. Things are spicy. There is a cantankerousness in the air. We had a fake hurricane this week.
Oh my God, the fake hurricane. So as someone who lived in Florida for a little while, when they were like, oh, there's a hurricane coming, I was like, oh, this will be fun.
Jake and I both texted each other like, hey, we're going to be all right. And then the next day, like, well, we're all right.
Nothing. It was just like, we had worse rain in January.
Oh, by a far. And like way more dangerous roads, conditions, everything. Yeah. Like I got clickbaited by the Weather Channel.
Yeah. Well, in fairness though, the tropical storm did take a hard turn to the east inward, so it definitely wrecked shit to the east of us. Everybody. Up through like Victorville, like Ontario area, whatever those that area is. Way worse to the east of us than here, closer to the water, which is hilarious.
Yeah, and all respect to those that did have to deal with it, and also we know it was downgraded, but it was just really funny the amount of preparedness.
But we had some rain.
Yep, it was a little windy, not even really windy.
No. But we're not built for rain here.
No, I didn't drive that day.
We don't. No. We
like
didn't.
Just if it drizzles in LA, you don't drive.
Yeah, we literally like pulled stuff away from the doors because I was like, if water does come up at all a few inches, the first thing it's gonna do is just seep in. So I was like, that was our rain preparation.
I went and like filled my gas tank. I stocked up on water. Yep. Like I didn't fill the bathtub, but I did you? I got close.
I did all the Florida shit.
You were so ready. But yeah, we had a little tiny storm this week. And for us, it was very exciting. I got to catch up on some TV.
Although then, like two velociraptors working together, the tropical storm
did bring a little quake.
Wasn't the actual issue. That was just a distraction because a goddamn earthquake, a 6.0 earthquake up in
the
Ojai.
Middle of it.
Yeah, in like the day that the fake hurricane came. There was a huge earthquake. Luckily, we are just far enough away that we didn't get any. I know people in the valley got it. People in the Sherman Oaks area about. We're on the west side here in LA, so we didn't quite get it. Thankfully.
Yeah.
But everybody, obviously, all of LA was blown up. Like really today?
Hurricane?
Today?
Really?
But people that were in like Thousand Oaks area, like they had like a legit earthquake.
Can you imagine
on
being
top
like
of it
east
all.
of Ojai, where you're in the path of the hurricane and the quake? Because that would be that, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think you'd have to be pretty far east, though, in order to be affected by the hurricane.
Good.
I feel like
I feel that for anyone.
Yeah, they were just far enough apart where, like...
So Ojai got drizzle, but
although there
quake.
is that center. The people that were right in the middle, though...
Had a day.
That was a rough day.
Had a day. It's been like that, and then there's also the strike afoot, so the things have been quaky, and, as well as hurricaney out with the...
It's a real shame that the writers are on strike, because Hollywood's already desperate to get the script for Hurricane going.
Oh, Hurricane is going to do so well when Jason Statham signs on after the strike
Really?
is over.
I think, honestly, after Shazam, I think it's The Rock.
Oh, he did just sign on for Fast 10 Part 2.
Sure, but when you sign on for Fast 10 Part 2, you're one of 45 people.
That's true.
When that movie succeeds or fails, it's not going to be one person's
Maybe it's Zach
fault.
Levi because of Shazam. Maybe
yes. Hurricane starring Zach Levi.
It's just him talking about how God's righteous path has put us in this way.
Yeah, no, it's definitely him.
But yeah, it's been weird. Meg 2 already made more than The Flash.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's been my fun statistic of the week.
I mean, but
I'm not supposed to
didn't
talk
The Flash
about box office,
lose money though?
Oh yeah.
So
no, but like
saying it made more. Anything made. Technically, Pinch, my movie made more than The Flash.
But also, like it, even if they were net zero,
right? Yeah, I get it.
It made $300 million, and Flash made $287.
No, yeah, I get it.
And also, yeah, you're a more successful director than Andy Muschietti right now.
I just got. Listen, I get one every month. I get my checks from the distribution. I think this month, I want to say it was $27.40 something, $27.47 or somewhere in that range. I'm making big money on my film career right now.
You can almost buy a movie ticket to another movie with that.
Almost.
With the money from directing, you can almost pay for your AMC A-list.
Oh boy, that's depressing.
It's you know what? Creating, guys, art doesn't pay unless you get to the point where it really pays. But until then, it doesn't really pay.
That's depressing.
It's where we're at. So yeah, strike's still afoot. So obviously you can't talk about much. Please don't tell those powers that be that I mentioned either film's box office.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's weird times out there. But also in general, as we round into the holiday season, my first holiday is my birthday, and our next show is going to be literally 2 days before my birthday drops. So I'm very excited to talk about birthday stuff next month. I'm turning the presidential one this year.
Oh,
I can run for president this year. I'm going to have a presidential birthday party.
That's fucking terrifying.
Right? I could have the nuclear codes. I could have the nuclear football, everybody.
Honestly, it's not that more terrifying than what we've been through.
Honestly, the last two presidents, I'm at least as mentally sound.
Can I tell you?
At least.
Ever since the lead up to the 2016 presidential race, I'm like fully confident that I could run.
The last 7 years, for sure.
Alexandra started me on this app called Long Walks, which is like, it's supposed to be like a social media app that's like not
for
shallow.
Walkers?
Well, sort of. I think the idea is that it's supposed to be like, I could see people probably using it as a dating app as well, but it's more just about like, instead of you just going on there and like mouth farting every day it asks a question. And then when you answer that question, you get to see other people's answers of that question. And sometimes it's like a funny thing. Sometimes it's like a bit more introspective, but it's nice. I think the big problem
like Twitter
with it,
meets Be Real.
Sort of. Yeah. I think the big problem with it right now is that like, it would be much better if you just had all of your friends on it already.
Yeah.
As far as like meeting people for it, it's kind of a lot of pardon being an awful person. Just a lot of basic ordinary bitches right now.
Just saying like,
it's just real rough right now.
What's your favorite color?
The people who follow you are like uninterested. Alexandra and I know you didn't watch Party Down. You should, but there's a line where they go and they work a party with a gentleman who was like used to be in the entertainment industry, but now he's just like a suburban house dad. And every time there's like a dumb argument about something about the HOA or about the kids, he just like mumbles ordinary fucking people. And so that's how I feel. I feel like it's a lot of ordinary fucking people. But I digress. One of the questions was like, I secretly feel that I can, and then like Kollin.
Run for
and I wrote like run for public office and win. Like,
yeah.
I'm pretty confident.
So yeah, for my birthday this year, we're doing a presidential theme. So
I like it.
Pretty excited I'm going to come up with a platform. I'm going to make like, my brochure.
I love it.
So definitely pro-drug, anti-theist.
I highly recommend, just for inspiration, looking in to Connor Ratliff's 2012 presidential campaign. Connor Ratliff is a comedian, sketch comedian. He was based out of New York. He's in LA. He's got, I think I told you about it. He's got an award-winning podcast called Dead Eyes, all about
you did tell
getting fired from Band of Brothers by Tom Hanks. He's a great guy and comedian. In 2012, he ran for president on the platform of I am old enough to be president.
That's exactly what I'm going for. I'm going to definitely check that out. That is perfect.
And he would do commercials where he would be like, why would I be a good president? Because according to the United States government, you have to be this old to be president. And I am this old.
That's amazing.
It was very funny and very humorous. Look it up.
I'm so down for that.
Yeah, you could probably find a lot of fun stuff for your party.
And one of the things I'm going to do is on the platform, which I'm going to publish for the party, I'm going to have everyone gets a debate card. And at any point in the night, you can come up and debate me about my platform. And the loser has to take a shot.
Okay. So like, who decides who wins?
There's going to be a moderate the whole time. I've got someone follow me around, literally judging, and then like the loser takes a shot. So it's just going to be like presidential debauchery.
This is really where are you going to have this?
A buddy of mine's house is offered. He's got like a nice larger house.
Because I was going to say, there is one bar that, even though it's kind of a fad and it's a little bit, sometimes it could be a bummer if you can reserve the back room for it.
The
Federal.
Oh, that's so funny. That'd be amazing.
Would be a very fun place to have.
So ironic. No, my buddy's actually got parking in LA, so he's letting me have a thing in his house. That's rare out here.
That's all that matters.
But yeah, I'm gonna advertise there is parking, and then people can join. And I'm like so excited to have people debate me throughout the night. And one of my friends looks a lot like Marilyn Monroe, and she's just gonna dress up and be offsides the whole night, just like in the background of photos.
Are you encouraging people to dress up like presidents throughout history?
Yep, presidents and first ladies and anything like in the cabinet. So basically anything government.
That's fun.
So yeah, I'm really excited for it, and you're missing it.
I would fucking rock Lincoln so hard.
Oh, dude, so well.
I'd shave for that. Well, that is depressing, but it'll be exciting.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. So as the season we get into the fall, I'm very excited for that. That usually kicks off fall for me because I was always one of those like early school year babies.
Today is the last day of August.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What a weird summer.
Tomorrow is I'm sorry. We have one more day of August. Today's the 30th. Tomorrow's the 31st.
That's a long month. How was your summer overall? Because I consider August the end of summer.
It was great because I didn't feel it. Like we traveled enough to where we had a few days here where it was really fucking hot and I was miserable, but I'm not a big summer fan.
Yeah.
I will say I'm really bummed that we didn't get to go. There's this one beach that I really love to go to that's up north, not quite in Malibu, but it's on that coastline there when it's like a tiny little not private. It's a public beach, but it's like really nobody goes there. It's one of those beaches where the giant rocks are just like on the sand that jut out and you can crawl through little caves. And it's that kind of spot where it's not like a big, like, it's not Santa Monica or Venice, something like that.
Sure.
So we didn't get to go there, which is I'm kind of bummed about, but we did get to take some hikes. We did some Escondido Falls stuff. So like we did some good summery stuff, but the best thing that we did was go to a place where the summer was not in effect.
Yeah.
And it was raining.
Had
I
gone to Boston when we recorded last?
I don't remember.
I don't think I'd gone yet.
No, because you were just there.
It was like 2 weeks ago. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so I went to Boston.
Yes.
Which was very hot, but so different. It was very surreal for my brain that grew up in them. I've never seen gentrification so aggressive that I felt like I was visiting somewhere new that was home.
Right. No, I totally get that.
All the triple deckers in Southie are gone. Like Southie's like expensive.
Right.
Like, and the median age in Southie used to be like mid 50s. Now it's mid 20s.
Right.
I've seen like gentrification happen with like 10 to 20 year changes. It's like a 30-year change.
I mean, Queens and Brooklyn, like that's my
Brooklyn's like right there.
It's my example of that where it's like, oh yeah, this used to just be like, sort of like working class, older families and old immigrants, but now it's all hipsters.
Yuppies. It's so weird, man.
It's American Pickle.
It really is. Yeah. It really is. And going to Boston was weird because I met a lot of Koikast listeners, which was cool.
Nice.
I met people that like I didn't realize we had a Boston contingent and they came to the con. But with the strike, I couldn't talk about anything of the mediums that people are known for, but it made for some really interesting conversations because it forced me to get to know the people. And that either went really well or really poorly. None of the conversations got like aggressive, but some people were just like, I don't know what to do here. And other people were like, what an opportunity. So like with Jason Lee, who I'd never gotten to talk to Jason for long. I'd met him through Kevin and like obviously the roles that I grew up admiring. Sure, of course, I couldn't talk about.
Yeah.
So looking over at someone who I've wanted to interview my entire career and being like
I'd say I've waited my entire life to ask you a question that I now
that I can't. There's 5 questions in my head that I'm going to not discuss. But it was really cool with him because we got to talk about skateboarding, growing up with Tony Hawk, teaching Tony Hawk stuff, into music and concerts, into photography, and it basically was like a conversation you and I would have.
Right.
And after the whole thing went down, he was like, I got to be a person. Thank you so much. And I was like, what a relief.
Well, I mean, like we've talked about this before about how like there's a reason why shit like, Hot Ones became so popular is because not only is it more entertaining to watch, but the panel people, the people who are just there touting whatever fucking shitty TV show or movie they're on, they're also going to have a much better time because it's going to be something to do that's going to break up the monotony of the same 6 questions over and over and over and over again.
And that's what I always pride myself in, but I really feel like this was like that at 11. It was like a fun challenge. Like I can't even say words.
Right.
Like I had a cast of a certain workplace comedy show and I couldn't call it the show. I had to call it the workplace comedy. And I was like, oh, this is a fun like Mad Lib. And then Garrett Hedlund.
Everybody's just doing Voldemort. Everybody's just doing like the name that should not be named.
The network that cannot be said.
Or what was the game with it's like Taboo with the buzzer?
Yeah, it was.
Where it's like we have to say it without
thousands
saying.
Of words.
Right.
But yeah, and then Garrett Hedlund and I had done a panel together right before the strike that went amazing, and he and I got along amazingly. And we weren't scheduled to work with each other, but we both were like, "Oh, I loved hanging out with you last time." So we like moved schedules around so we could
made it work.
And then it was like this amazing fireside chat about like fatherhood and like music, and we both got like really emotional on stage. Nice. And it was this really beautiful like this might never have happened.
Right.
So it was a really cool con to go home
right.
but also get to connect with people in a way that they never usually get that opportunity.
Right. Did you actually go see family while you were there?
So most of my family has moved to Atlanta.
Right.
But my friends that I don't usually get to see, I did get to do a friend trip, and I got to meet my goddaughter for the first time, which was really special.
Sweet.
She turns 1
for
next
the first
week.
time.
She turns 1 next week. Like I just haven't been home.
Were you not there?
I wasn't there at her birth.
Oh,
because she's only a year old, and I don't get to go home much.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you? But so it's like a goddaughter in like title and not in like religious nonsense.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Right, because like usually you're like at a like you're at like a baptismal or something.
Remember, I'm running on the anti-theism platform.
So I get it. Same. Hard same, but yeah.
Yeah, no, the word God means fake, so I'm a fake parent to her. So as the fake parent, fake father, I am very excited to not only be present in her life, but also like the pop culture element was so cool because her brother is turning 6. Yeah, he's turning 6. And I got to introduce him to Tara Strong, and she did like 5 voices in a row, and I got to see this kid. It was
like, hey, do you know who I am? No. Well, now you do.
And it was so cool to see like the magic light up.
That's cute.
So I'm really excited to do that for her in a couple of years. So it's really cool to see these two like phases of kids.
That's something that I regret. It was just one of those things that I could never make happen. Was I always wanted to bring my nieces to LA Comic-Con when they were little, but or not even. I'm sorry, I meant to say San Diego Comic-Con, but. Not even San Diego Comic-Con, maybe even LA Comic-Con or WonderCon or one of the smaller ones. But because of the timing, like it always happened like the week of their birthday. And all 3 of my nieces have birthdays like 2 weeks apart. And so they always have this big summer, you know what I mean? Like I could never make it happen. And now they're all older. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I would still have to bring them, but it's not as fun for me.
Yeah, right. It's not the same, like, look at me, let me show you around.
Well, it's also just like, it's about like the little kid wonder versus the like apathetic teen, whatever.
Oh, that's cool. And I've never gotten that. I've never been to a con with a kid.
Yeah.
So it was really special to get to not only go to my home, but one of my friends I grew up with kids got to be like, this is a con.
Right on.
So yeah,
well, that's fun.
As someone who wants kids, it was like a little sneak preview of like, this is why this stuff matters. So it was cool. It was a good trip.
I love that. Well, I mean, speaking of the East Coast, now seems like a good enough segue than any of them. There is some changes happening here at Dragon Wagon Radio and in the Bacon Hoy household. Alexandra and I, without getting into too much boring details, we need to temporarily relocate. And so I hope that my what do you call it? Not crypticism in describing this doesn't come off as dramatic. Everything is fine. We have to go handle essentially the sale of a house on the East Coast and also do some work while we're there as well. So it doesn't make sense for us to try to do that from LA and spend all the money that it takes to live in LA. And so we are very abruptly, very quickly, by the time that you guys are listening to this, we are like nearly on our way out of here, putting the majority of our belongings into a storage unit here in LA and heading over to the East Coast for a undisclosed, not undisclosed, what do they call that?
Indefinite?
Indeterminable amount of time. Mm-hmm. This could be a 6-month venture. We think that's kind of the minimum. This could end up being 7, 8, 9, 10 a year. We don't know. We have no idea what we're getting ourselves into.
But they're going to be east for the fall.
And so there's a lot of good there. Let's talk about some of let's talk about how it affects the show and everything first, and then we'll talk about all the fun stuff. Coy, and I'm going to get sad now on you because like, doing some math, Coy, I've seen you more in the past 3 years than I have any other friend.
Oh no, by a lot. I was thinking that on the drive here. Right. I was like, wow, this is a big shift.
All of the other shows that we've done, for that, when I say we, meaning Dragon Wagon Radio, like the vast majority of them went completely remote in the pandemic, or not just prior to it, and never came back in person. Mm-hmm. Coy and I were in person throughout the entire pandemic.
Jake was in my pod.
Yep,
you were the first person I saw.
Were the same, outside of Alexandria, but
sure.
We started 2 weeks before the pandemic began,
which is insane.
Right? And so I'm struggling. This is going to be tough, but despite the fact that we've kept this the best possible in-person show we've been able to for 3 years now, however long it's been. We're the only way to continue the program, if we're going to continue it at all, is going to be remote for a little while. I've set up Coy with some gear here. We do need to get him another item or two, which, by the way, now is a great time to become a patron.
Yeah,
over at patreon.com/Koycast.
Great time.
Great time to do that. Also, if you have any interest in making a little one-time donation to help Coy get get some items that allow him to
want it to sound good from across the country.
Yes.
And it's not like I'm not going to be in the room with him, so we got to make it as good as we can.
You can head on over to Dragon Wagon Radio patreon.com/support if you want to see how you can make a little one-time donation, help Koi buy some stuff. But with that said, we're gonna try to stick to the best schedule we can remote.
Yep.
With that comes things that I think are detrimental. Timing is not quite the same. Koi and I both talk over each other all the time. We're both Northeasterners who do overlapping conversation, and we hear when we speak, and so it doesn't bother us. I know it bothers some of the listeners.
Yep. So sorry,
but it doesn't bother us. But that's gonna be a lot tougher once there's a Zoom delay, whatever we're doing remote. But we're still going to do the best we can to ensure that we're putting out very fun shows and that we get to hang out with each other, even if it's over Zoom, and we get to catch up and talk about movies and TV and comic books and all the pop culture joy that we always do.
And the Patreon continues as well.
Yes, of course.
Just so you guys know.
So we're going to be switching to remote. We will still have one more episode here in studio before we switch to remote. So the last in-person episode is going to be on the 13th of September. And then at that point in time, we will be actively moving. So there might not be an episode after that right away. Like we might miss a week there, but once I get to the East Coast and I'm set up, in New York, in a place that's easy and I can do it. And Koi has what he needs, and we do a test, maybe one or two.
Try to get settled in the right way.
To make sure that first episode back isn't an absolute train wreck of technology for you. And I do mean for you. Because
I'm the worst at technology.
I'm petrified.
It's an awful idea.
I am petrified that I'm going to have to explain to you which side of the microphone
it's
to talk
literally
into.
Plan Z. Like, we have no other option. Otherwise, we'd do anything except have me wield technology.
We're going to make sure that we try to not skip or miss any patron episodes. Again, if we do, there might be one or two. Please just bear with us during the transition.
Big shift.
Once we're set up in New York, everything will be fine, and we'll go back to normal. We'll just be remote.
Yeah.
But I'm a little sad.
Yeah, it's
because
rough, man.
even if it's 6 months, that's not a long time. Alexandra keeps saying like, yeah, it's not a long of a time, and I'm like, yeah, I'm 40. Let's say I only have let's say I only have 25 years left of walking around well. Let's say at 65, this all turns to shit for me, okay? Which hopefully I'll be joyous.
That's very dark.
I know.
That's a cynical number.
I only have
so 65
many.
Is spry.
I only have so many.
6 months.
I know.
You only,
but I keep doing the math, and Alexandra's like, yeah. I was like, 6 months isn't a long time when you're 20 or 30.
But technically, it's 1/50th of your remaining 25 years.
I might only have, people always say, I was watching something ever that was like, oh, how many like summer vacations do you have left in your life? Like, actually think about that, because we all think of like, oh, I'm just gonna live.
It's summer.
It's like, no, I might have 40 summer vacations left.
Isn't that crazy?
Which is not a lot.
Not a lot at all.
That kind of shit. But anyways, I digress. So
6 months, it's all relative.
The goal, of course, is to go and handle what we need to handle, and come back and get into a nicer, better space that we enjoy, and that's nice, and that we're happy, and get back to work as usual, just pick up where we left off, kind of stuff. Obviously, who knows what the middle is going to have for us as far as curveballs.
Yeah.
We're entering Alexandra's busy season, which is going to make everything a little bit tougher on us, as far as achieving our goals and getting back sooner. But it's a lot. As we speak, the studio is no longer a studio.
Yeah, that's why I didn't have the TV at the top.
I have left a little pop-up desk in the center of the studio for us to record this last long day of episodes.
Yeah.
And everything else is already stripped. And so we are in full-fledged pack, sell, give, and store mode,
It's pretty surreal.
Yeah, it's definitely surreal. Especially because we've only been in this second studio space now for
14, 15
for 16 months, maybe
16 months. Yeah. Yeah. I was quick too. Cause it was honestly like the pandemic era felt like years and a week at the same time.
Right.
And then here has been like another weird transition because it was like move in, settle, re-record, changed it twice a month, and then strike.
Yeah.
So like it's all been kind of chaotic.
Yeah. But I don't know. It felt like we've been here for a long time though.
Here. Yeah.
Like I feel like we've done a lot of episodes in this space.
Yeah.
I know
once we went weekly on Patreon Pod, especially.
Of course, yeah. Well, we always were.
That's right. That's right. We changed how we recorded in chunks, and it's like.
But so it's a little bittersweet because obviously we love the space, we love the studio. I'm not going to have a proper Dragon Mag Radio is going to be temporarily headquarterless.
Sure.
For this transitional period in New York. I will have a space for me to record, but I probably won't have a space where I could be bringing people in and doing anything in person for a little while. But everything should still be running as normal. I'm just not gonna have that space. So, this was, Dragon Wagon headquarters Mark II.
Yeah.
One day there will be a Mark III.
Yeah. And, trilogies are usually better than sequels.
Yeah. But it's a little bittersweet. That's all kind of sad and a little, somber, but going to the East Coast.
You're going to be in the East Coast in the fall,
for
dude.
fall and for winter is going to be very entertaining, mostly the fall part. And
you're the only person I know that likes cold.
Alexandra is so excited to go to your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
She's so excited. Well, now I'm gonna be like, it's all gentrified now.
I mean, I'm going to Southie, but Salem's dope.
But she's so excited to go to not even to Salem, but Boston. She wants to do all of that stuff.
Yeah, I got Rex for you, man.
Yeah, please let us know. She wants to go do some stuff while we're there. Try to take advantage of being in the Northeast for a while.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to going to the Hudson Valley. I'm looking forward to going to the Catskill Mountains, which is like a place that
I was there 6 days and I was like,
yeah.
Am I coming back? Like, I was there 6 very whirlwindy days.
Yeah.
It's magic, man.
Right. We're going to also be spending a lot of time through the DC area. We're going to be spending a lot of time in Virginia by Shenandoah, which we're really looking forward to going to that. Beautiful. So like there's definitely a lot of like positives behind this whole kind of ordeal that we found ourselves in. But it's also, it's inevitable. The task that we have to do is something we were going to have to do anyway.
Sure.
And now is a good enough time to rip the band off, especially because there's a strike.
Right.
And because there isn't a lot of stuff working. Yeah, commercials are still up and going, and I'm still auditioning. I'm still working commercial gigs. But, if there's a time to do it that's going to be the least intrusive on our lives, it's right now.
And I don't see this ending in the next few months.
No. I mean,
every time there's a Friday meeting, like it's like, oh,
there's been a lot of Friday meetings.
I feel like every Thursday, they're like, big meeting tomorrow. I'm like, how about that?
Every one of these is like JFK coming back for the QAnon kids.
I've been really ready for this new Tupac album, the AMT.
Or whatever it is. Yeah.
Because every week they're like, it went horribly. I was like, what are we doing wrong again?
Isn't that literally a Clerks line? Like, it's the end of the world every week. And then they come up with a new thing. Oh, we were saved by a mutant fish bird.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah. Kevin called that and the new Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Ahsoka has like a direct subplot that feels like Kevin Smith wrote it in 97.
Really?
And it's so funny.
Do we know that there's not any lineage to something that he worked on at one point?
Definitely feels like either the person was inspired by some of the dialogue or Kevin had like a backdoor pilot they're adapting. It's
right.
So
That's what I mean.
Kevin Smith.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, this was something he was put on 5 years ago, and then
they're like,
it's not on it anymore, and it still has a little DNA in it.
And it's so plot heavy that I'm like, okay, where's that Reddit credit?
Right.
Like it's really funny. I don't know if you're gonna watch it, but it's very direct.
I haven't seen any Star Wars thing.
Oh, that's right. You don't watch Mando.
I haven't seen any Star Wars TV show yet. I haven't seen.
And it's a sequel to Rebels, which you have not seen, the animated ones, the 4 seasons.
No. Have I seen any Star Wars movies? Have I not seen any Star Wars movies, is what I should say? No, I think I saw all the Star Wars movies.
Rogue One.
Yeah, I saw all the Star
Solo.
Wars movies. Yep, I saw the movies.
Okay.
Didn't see any TV shows.
Okay. I mean, you're only like 7 behind.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Frankly, there's a lot of things you haven't seen, and I don't know if I'd start you there.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen for him. But, yeah, excited to be in, again, in Northeast for some fun seasons. It does mean we might have to push our wedding back a little bit.
Oh, I was going to...
Which is we're a little bit bummed about. I'm more bummed than she is. But listen.
Which coast get married on?
We're getting married. We want to get married out here. We want to get married in the California mountains. We want to get married in Sequoia, Redwoods, that area, Yosemite. Like that's kind of the dream. Whether or not it's going to happen, we don't know.
I've only been in Yosemite once, and it was kind of life changing. It's like stunning out there.
Yeah, I've never been to Yosemite. Alexandra has, but we've I've been to areas in that forest range and stuff like that. But I mean, that's my favorite place.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the goal. But everything right now is kind of a question mark. Put
a pin in it. Everything's got a pin.
Big question mark. So yeah, with all that said, a lot of big life changes going on here, but we're gonna do our best to keep things trucking along. And it'll be kind of fun to see whether or not my New York accent comes back.
Oh, I give it 3 episodes.
Alexandra says that whenever I speak to my cousin for a prolonged period of time, that it starts coming out.
You're going to be in the area. It's not going to be one person. It's going to be everyone but you. It's going to be 3 episodes max. It's going to be so quick.
I don't know. You're probably right, but I'm holding back on that. Everybody all of my family in New York and people that I know and friends there say that I don't sound like I'm from New York anymore to them.
Well, yeah, because to them, you're at like a 2.
Sure.
To us, you're at a 6. So when you move back and you become an 8, it's going to be very clear. Because you're going to go to like the deli and talk to the guy with the thickest accent ever. And it's going to be like, and it's just going to
what can I get for you?
Yeah, it's going to be seconds. Like, because it's not necessarily your family that I'm thinking. It's going to be like,
we're here today to talk about James Gunn's new Superman movie that came out. Coy, let me tell you, I really thought Superman Legacy. I didn't know about the decision to I don't know why they decided to make him not an Earth anymore. I thought that was kind of weird.
Why are the mics different with Jake and no, that's not the microphone. That's just Jake. Jake's changed. That's the new Jake now. And also, I think you interacting with like the Deep August type folk is going to really change when Deep August intrudes.
I need to develop like a filter that I can turn on off. Can you put on the no longer in New York filter?
Turn down the New York filter on your microphone?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for you to get to fall, and I'm excited for you to see,
and
especially Virginia in the fall.
I'm excited to hit up a lot of my favorite New York spots, but also there is something, I don't know if you get this, but you just said that you went back home to Boston and you were like, maybe I don't come back. But like, I feel like the distance makes the heart grow fonder stuff, right? Where I feel
110%.
I feel like when I'm there, the things won't feel as special as much.
The 6 days I was there, everything felt like an 11.
Right.
Everything was so high. And then as I was leaving, I was like, I don't know if I should visit a yearly thing.
Right.
Because of how special this was.
Right. Yeah. So I'm a little worried that like some of the stuff that there
might be a threshold though where it comes back. Well, like maybe after a month and a half, then all of a sudden you're like, now I've got a rhythm. Also, and now I'm a New Yorker again.
Also, there is something to be said about the fact that again, we're not just we're setting up a home base in New York. But we're gonna be in Virginia, in DC. We're gonna be in a few different places. And so that also might make it so that, and at the end of the day, Alexandra keeps saying like, this thing's gonna go, we're gonna blink.
Yeah.
And it's going to be March next year already. Like this is going to be.
It's September in a week.
Yeah, exactly.
It was March a day ago.
100%. Yes. I feel like we were just in New York for my birthday trip.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And my
it's
cousin's
insane.
wedding. Yeah.
Like St. Patrick's Day was a half a year ago.
Right. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So we're going to blink and we're going to be already planning our trip back, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
it just feels weird because you're on the edge of the other cliff. Like the precipice is now.
Yeah. Also, this country's way too fucking big.
Yeah, it's real big. It's a bunch of countries, man.
We're driving across.
Yeah.
We're driving the Jeep.
That's the first episode. Your
yeah. By the way, on top of needing to buy some gear, if you want to make some gas donations, it's gonna cost us $1,000 in gas because
you're driving the Jeep.
I get 12 miles to the gallon in that thing.
Also, it's gonna add 4 days because you're gonna have to stop every 3 towns.
And we're towing a little storage container thingy too, to have because it's like that's the problem too is because of the podcasting, because of my work as a photographer.
Yeah,
I can't just fill up. I'm not the kind of person who can just travel and work with just a laptop and clothes. So I need to bring more stuff than I can fit in the Jeep.
And you got dogs.
Well, and that's part of the reason. If we didn't have the dogs, we probably could fit everything.
Because you could slam it.
But because of the dogs, that's a whole back seat that we don't have option. You know what I mean? So we're gonna need a little storage.
You're gonna go gas station to gas station. It's gonna be a quest.
I'm not looking forward to that at all.
I'm ready for this Chevy Chase-esque vacation story of you driving cross country and the hijinks that ensue. You're gonna it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. At least
you're going.
Don't put that on me.
I think you're gonna be safe. I just think it's good you're not going any later.
Yeah.
If you were you know what I mean? If this was November,
I mean, we went in March and we got in a snow blizzard in Kansas. Yeah.
And that was without dogs.
Right. Or was it Kansas? Where was that? Whatever state it was awful. I hated it.
But like November onward, dude,
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing is that all throughout the winter, we're going to be making we're going to be driving back and forth between the pentastate area, 5 states. I'm trying to think of what you call tri-state, quad state, and pentastate.
Sure. Cinque state. I don't know what that would be.
Penn State.
Penn State.
The Penn State area. One thing that is also a big pro, going to be much closer to the brand new McCarstle.
You're going to be right next to it.
So it's going to be really fun. We're going to try to steal a trip down there to go see a show.
If I do New York Comic Con, I'm going because there's no way.
You will be out there next month.
Yeah.
So we'll try to hook up then. I mean,
that'd be a fun first episode.
I will say, the irony of that. I wonder if you could just make it and we could just do it in person for the
That'd be so funny. I'd love that.
I mean, it would just be a matter of your schedule.
Yeah,
and how
but
much
I could
it
try to
costs.
add a like half day. Like I could try to fly a red eye or somewhere, something like that.
Right, because I mean that would be kind of hilarious. Because wait, when are you there?
It would be August. I mean October 10 to 16 or something like that. 10 to 15.
So we would probably still do one remote recording, and then if you come and we do one in New York,
and then we could like catch up. Yeah. If I make it over there,
if we can make it work,
day.
we will try to make it work. No promises.
If I make it to the East Coast, I'll add a half day.
Yeah,
because that'd be fun as hell.
All right, we'll see if we can
talk to Kevin about recording at the McCarstle. Kevin, let's use your gear.
Oh shit,
that'd be so much fun.
And then we would both have to travel, which is fair.
But that'd be so much fun to be like, hey, we're in his space, like we use his pod gear.
Listen, you're the buddies with him. Come
dude,
on,
I got to send him a video message from me and Jason for his birthday. I felt like it was such a moment because I've always said like the thing I love about like the movie culture is the happiness gets returned. Like Kevin started making stuff because of Linklater, and then like that built into all these new filmmakers. And Kevin gave me 20 years of happiness, and I literally got to send him like with his buddy 400 person happy birthday message from stage. And I was like, this is so cool.
That's really fun.
But yeah, I think the trip is going to be interesting. But I think that you are going to find what you love about the East Coast is still there. And I'm curious how that changes your perspective here, because you have a, like I do, you've got this, like what it is like the East Coast is like, El Dorado. So I'm really curious how that affects, like when you live there, do you feel like I'm a New Yorker or does that change?
Yeah. I do think the whirlwind of it might make it so it still feels like a trip, an extended visit versus a temporary.
Especially with 2 different states, you'll be bopping. Like that's not going to be.
We're going to be all over the fucking place. It's going to be.
Are you doing south or north to get over?
Well, it's the least It's the least mileage going up the north. The same exact route we took last time, which is a little bit further north. So yeah, that we'll be
You're going up and over, not down.
Yes. Yeah. Not down and
no
up.
Texas.
Yeah. No Texas, probably no. We're probably going up the Denver route. Up through Chicago, and then that kind of route there.
I did. I was in Georgia to pick up a car, so I did the South. The one time I did it.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating because I went to New Orleans, but only for 6 hours.
Oh, you went way down south.
Yeah,
so
because I was already in Georgia, so I did like the southernmost.
So yeah, there's like it's like the 10, the 20, the 40.
Oh yeah, that's right. It is kind of sectioned.
Yeah. And the 10 is the one that runs right, like 10. The 10 runs along the coastline of like the Panhandle, the Gulf, of Mexico Panhandle. So like that's the real southern.
That's the way I did, and it was fascinating because I've always wanted to go to New Orleans, and I want to go back.
You were in Texas for like 3 days.
Yeah,
and it was just like
insane.
this state just
it looks
end.
the same.
Yeah.
Like there was one day that I like lost sense of space time.
Yeah.
Like when you're in a plane, like to the Middle East, when you're in there for like 18 hours, and you're like,
I mean,
I don't know who I am.
That's what we did to England, and it was just sort of like, I don't know what time of day it is. I don't know. Should I be sleeping?
When I flew to Dubai, I felt like a mental break happened. Like Dubai is so far, and you're in a metal cage, and your brain is just like, I don't know what I am.
No,
it's a weird. It felt like Interstellar. I was like, what am I? Who am I? But yeah, so big shift, man.
Yeah. So there's all that stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to take a hotline call?
Let's hear what the people have to say.
Hey, Coy and producer Jake. This is Joseph from Arizona. Just calling because I'm curious if you know when comic books went to like the 6-issue arcs away from like single issue, like stories, just because of the trades coming out usually in collections of 6. Thanks. Bye.
I love this question, in part because I don't think there's a specific time, but I do think it was the Bronze Age, and I do think that was a shift in the way stories are being told in longer form. There were some 6-issue arcs in the Silver Age, there were like the occasional, but I think it's gotten more and more popular. And what I'm curious about is, I know you think of comics as like 4 or 5 issues, and I think indies...
You mean trades?
Trades.
Yes.
I think indies are a different overall feel where they're a little bit more sporadic because they can be.
Right.
But I do think of the big 2 having 6-issue trades.
It's funny too, because I don't know when, but at some point I got it in my head that trade paperbacks are all 4. And I think it might be, and I could be wrong by this, I think Walking Dead
I think
might
it's an
be
indie
4.
Because I think of them as 6, and we've always had that where I'm like, what do you mean?
I don't, and so whenever I get one that's 6, I was like, oh, this is a bigger trade.
Bonus.
This is more for your money. Yeah.
And whenever I get a 4, I'm like, what is this shit? But yeah, I think it's the Bronze Age is kind of like when comics became, hey, we're going on this journey together.
Right.
And like, I know then the modern age is when they started doing more often.
Right.
So now you might get weekly or bi-weekly comics.
Well, I also think that the Bronze Age. So what decade? Like what era do you consider the Bronze Age of comics?
80s into early 90s, but like 92 was like modern age kickoff.
Let's see.
So like,
I'm curious what. So 70 to 85, it says, is the Bronze Age of comic books according to Wikipedia.
All right, I buy that.
Know. 70 to 85. My thought process, which is this sort of lines up what I was going to say, was I feel like in that era, the non-floppy graphic novel also rose to popularity.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
They're like, oh no, this isn't. Yeah, the idea is that you could probably buy it, but like this is like the Watchmen's of the world.
Alan Moore the British Invasion, Grant Morrison.
When would Mouse come out? I feel like it was probably in that era, no? Or am I way the fuck off? People are like, Jake, what are you talking about?
It's that kind of intellectualism, but I'm not sure if it's
Mouse
the timing.
is 80.
Okay, so that's
so
technically
right there, but it did go into the 90s. But like, I feel like those sorts of books that started doing well, not in comic shops, but in bookstores.
Yeah.
Probably, and this is all, by the way, hearsay. This is me pulling this out of my ass. Probably opened up this new avenue for the big two and for other, even indies to be like, oh, this is the exact same product for a different market.
Yeah.
For the people who were then like I am now, where I pick up an individual comic book and I go, cool, I don't want this in my house.
Sure.
Like, like this is fun. I will read it and I will hand it back to you.
Yeah.
Let me know when I can get let me know when the whole movie's out.
And
I don't need the first 15 minutes of it.
This is not enough data.
It's like buying an episode of something. Oh my God, the fire alarm is going off in the,
this is just perfect timing. This is exciting.
First it was the hurricane.
And now fire.
We're going to take a break because I think we might have to evacuate.
Stay tuned.
All right, we didn't burn down.
And we're back.
Instead, the building is just stupid and the building management has no idea how to handle the alarm system.
Living the dream.
That was so loud.
That was so loud.
It's right behind us here. And I guess it's good that it works.
But there was a full minute of like, my brain couldn't, it was like being on a plane too long. Yeah. I couldn't focus.
We needed to get the dogs out because the dogs were going crazy for obvious reasons.
And I was as well, but internally.
And I'm going to let you know, it's not that there's a fire. Again, it's just like a problem with the system. There's a 90% chance it's going to happen again.
We're going to do what we can, though. Let's see what we got.
I like to think that since we record so much in a day that like that's going to be an ongoing thing for the entire month.
For
the whole month.
Every week we record. Right. Oh, man.
Well, we were talking about trade paperbacks and floppies, and you get my point. I'm a big trade guy, and I do think that is a market that maybe just became more popular in the 80s. That was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, full story versus like weekly going to the store. It's more approachable.
Right.
I think comics became more mainstream around then and have continued to. I personally love floppies as they come out, and then about a year later get that hardcover. Sure. That's how I like to
And then
read
you
them.
just keep
And then I reread them as...
Keep your floppies? And
I keep them as collectible.
Store them?
Yeah. They go in the long box, not to be read again.
Right.
And then I read my hard copy. And that big hardcover, not the omnibus, but like a hard copy that's usually about 24 issues, is going to be 4 of those arcs. So it's about 2 years worth, but that usually, more realistically 2.5, but like 4 of those stories.
All right. So to keep the Walking Dead as my standard.
Yes.
I know for a fact that the hardcover volume 1 of Walking Dead is the first 2 trade paperbacks.
So it's 8 issues?
So it's 8 issues.
A hardcover is only 8?
Maybe.
That is small.
I mean, I can go get it and double check.
That's just a fascinatingly tiny amount. Because 24 is like...
I was going to go get it, but let me just look it up. It's easier.
And for reference, dear viewer, it is my birthday next month, and Deadly Class Volume 4 in hardcover is on my birthday wish list.
Post your birthday wish list like a piece of shit.
You know what? I want things.
Why don't you put the crap you need for the studio?
100%.
For recording 100%. At the top of the list.
Very tip top.
Okay, let's see. What was I looking up again? Oh, yeah. Walking Dead Volume 1.
Yes.
Right? So the problem is The Walking Dead named their trade paperbacks Volume 1, which is really annoying. Because then it's also
hardcover Volume 1?
Yeah, you have to type in hardcover. All right, so that's the one that I have right there. Walking Dead, the hardcover. Give me a good version of it. I want to see what it collects. It'll usually tell you in a description. And it doesn't because it's dumb. All right, different listing. Sorry, that was a
hoodwinked.
Walking Dead. I guess Amazon's the best place to look for it, right?
Yeah, generally. And then it'll have a on the
You know what? I'm very proud to say that I typed in Walking Dead Book 1 hardcover.
Bring to Skybound?
And Amazon's like not even on the first page of results. And now I just changed it to Volume 1 instead of Book 1, and now it's right there, first one.
Amazon's back.
Let's see, is this the hardcover? Yeah, it is. July 1st, 2006. This hardcover features the first 12 issues. Okay.
So it is 1 through 6.
So it is
and then,
1 through 6.
Yeah, it's a
so
6
maybe,
issues. 6 issues is a standard trade.
But
That's
maybe
2.
so are those trades 6 issues and I've just always misremembered it?
That'd be so funny.
It is very like me. Let's see. I'm gonna go look at the trade paperback.
I think trades are almost always 6.
Days Gone By. It was the name of that very first ever trade that got me hooked. Let's see. What does it say? Be better at your
listings.
At your listings. Arm is arm. Geez, it's not like you're the biggest company in the entire world for shipping things. Yeah, it doesn't say. It just says like, how many pages it is, but not how many it collects. We'll just take your word for it and say that you're 100% right.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how I like to personally read them, and I think it's interesting for writers to adjust accordingly, and that's kind of what he's speaking to is like how we consume them and also how writers make these stories.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What happened?
I need to read to you the first review
of The Walking Dead.
Of The Walking Dead on Amazon.
Okay.
I'm begging this to be a joke. Like hardcore. If this isn't comedy, we as a society are over. Which might happen anyway.
Yeah, I'm like, well.
Surprisingly pretty good. 4 stars. Though this is a retelling of the classic Walking Dead series with slight variations, I'm pleasantly surprised that it's quite entertaining. I'm hooked. I gave this a 4-star rating because of the lack of color, but the storyline is pretty good. Can't wait to read more. That's got to be a joke, right? That's got to be a comedy bit.
You know what? Who won the president?
That's got to be. I love that I give it 4 stars because of the lack of color.
Everything before 2016 would have told me that's a joke.
A retelling
2016
of the classic Walking Dead series. This has got to.
You cannot underestimate the stupidity of people.
I mean, this is what when our show goes long distance. This is what we're doing. We're just going to
read Amazon reviews.
Going to read Amazon reviews back and forth with one another. Okay.
Actually, you know what? We could do it'd be fun to do the Letterboxd game, but with comic reviews.
100%.
That's a cool
Although
idea.
It's tougher because you got to know the other person knows the book pretty well.
It would have to be a mainstream book.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. We need to get out of here. But
yeah, it's been a crazy episode.
But before we do, we have a pretty large task. For the past, God, how many months have we been doing it now? 3 months? Something like that. We have slowly been opening an entire box of 1991 to 2 DC Cosmic cards, the inaugural set of DC Cosmic cards. And the idea is that if we can create an entire set here, we are going to give the set away to a random winner chosen from those who have reviewed our podcasts on Apple Podcasts. We have opened an entire box and
we have chipped away
and are currently, let me pull up my sheet.
While you pull it up, I got to read something I've never read. On the back of these cards, it says, use our free checklist to make sure you collect all 180 exciting DC Cosmic cards.
Yes.
Send to order, send your name, address, zip code, and date of birth to Cosmic Cards Checklist, P.O. Box, blah, 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 blah. Please allow us 6 to 8 weeks for delivery. Offer expires 9/30/92.
So
September.
So the
30th,
idea being that you could just call in for the card.
Yeah,
do you just get card 180?
I think so. And it tells you what the checklist is. Why is it included?
That's a ripoff.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Why is that card a thing if you...
Right.
I thought it was funny.
All right. Well, we are at 95 point... Oh, I squeaked there. Going through puberty.
Sure excited.
95.26% of the pack.
So close.
I forget. We did the math. How many? We only need 1, 2, 3, 4. We only need 4 cards left of the main...
And we've got 4 decks left.
And there are still 6 of the foils, but we're considering that bonus.
Yeah, that's extra.
I can't imagine. Gorgeous. I also can't imagine we're gonna get all of the foils.
But
in one
4
box.
and 4 packs, I feel good. We're gonna do 1 each.
So yeah, we only are gonna do this for the next 2 episodes. So by the end of the next episode, we will know whether we've made a set or not, and if not, we will have a laugh at our expense.
Oh yeah.
So we're each just gonna do 1 pack here. Before we get into it, I know you're really
final countdown, man.
I noticed something when I was organizing these the last time, because after we record, we take our 2 piles. We both have a pile of the new ones and then the repeats. I go in, I add them to the master collection, right. And then I also have a secondary box where I'm putting them in order so that we can easily track our duplicates and all that stuff. And I noticed something pretty fantastic. Hang on a second, I'm gonna show you this. that I did not realize because we've just been sort of opening them sporadically, and I haven't really paid attention to the collection.
Yeah.
So for the first 30 cards, it is the golden, silver modern sets where it's like golden age, Flash, silver age Flash, modern age Flash. I noticed for the first time that, hang on, the 3 cards that make up those sets are one image.
No.
Yeah.
We haven't noticed in all the
I
decks
have not
we've
noticed.
Opened? Oh, wow.
That I'm trying to get a good one here.
So silly.
Just out of our dupes, where they're all the same.
No way.
The same. It's the character of all different generations on the same background.
That's cool. It makes a little panoramic.
The reason why I noticed it the first time was because of Soups. I noticed, I was like, it's weird that they have him in front of the Statue of Liberty, but that it's not prominently featured.
Yeah.
That. I saw that card.
And there's another yellow.
And I was like, well, that's weird. And then I realized, oh, look. When you put golden and silver age right next to each other, and then boom, right next to here.
She's holding it out. Yeah.
There's modern age.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're all one big picture.
So when
anyways, I thought that was
on a
fun.
set of 9 in a sleeve, you'd see 3 rows of an image.
Yeah, I
Man,
thought that was
like
a fun thing I noticed last time. That
someone's gonna enjoy these.
It took us very long.
3 months. 3 months to notice.
I screwed up and took all these ones out of order, trying to find those, but I'll fix those another time.
I'm leaving today with my Mr. Miracle card. It's happening. We had
oh
to do.
Yeah. That's right.
Gotta make sure. Beautiful card.
Or I'll make you come get it in New York in October.
Quest.
That way you have to come. That
Sorry,
way, like,
guys.
God damn it! I don't even want to do this fucking podcast, but I want that Mr.
I need that Mr. Miracle card.
All right. So without further ado, let's bust open some
first deck
comic book trading cards. What do you say?
All right.
All right. And by the way, the 4 packs we have left are all Green Lantern.
Yeah.
They're all Hal Jordan.
All right. Our first card is a dupe. It is number 86, Chemo.
We definitely have a Chemo. Wait, let me pull my sheet
chemo.
back up. All right, 86 dupe. We have I have a dupe in our modern age Wonder Woman. The only person of the ages that we need right now is Shazam. We need Golden Age Shazam is the only one of the ages that we're missing.
I'm very curious about seeing the spread of these because I know we got them all. Golden Age Cheetah is my next one.
Yep, we got ourselves some Cheetah. I like that Cheetah.
Based.
I like that Cheetah made the list of 30s.
Big enough filling.
Yeah, I like that. Alrighty, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Wasn't that one of the ones we needed? I don't know if it was the right. Nope, we got all those.
All right. Do we need? I actually don't recognize this cover art.
Okay.
Do we need a great battle?
I think we do need one great battle.
Is it Armageddon 2001 card B number 164?
No, it is not. We have 4 of those already.
God damn it!
You're like, I don't recognize it.
I was like, I don't see this one.
4 of them.
All right.
We definitely have had Blackfire already because I recognize her. She's a very, very 90s looking character.
We've had a lot of Vandal Savages.
Yep, love that card. Looks like Randy Savage. The wrestler,
does definitely does.
Man. Wildcat, definitely have had a number 78 Wildcat plenty of times. Got a few of those.
Number 94 Eclipso.
We've definitely had Eclipso. I remember talking about the name. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've got 4 of those as well.
Man.
That'll make our 5th one right there.
Killing me. All right.
Number 37, I think we've got Blue Devil as a character that I don't recall, but yeah, this is our second. We only had one of them, so that's our first. I wonder if we'll have 2 sets.
Or 70% of a second set.
Yep.
Okay. I know we have this one, but it's so funny to me that number 69 is Peacemaker.
Yes, we've got a lot of peace that has been makered. I know we've got 88 Copperhead because the suit is ridiculous looking, and it looks like a character that you would see at like a Chuck E. Cheese with a man in it.
I remember this guy actually looks like a rip of many characters. Kestrel, number 99.
Yep, we've got 99. We definitely have a Metamorpho, if not 2 of them. Got that.
Maybe.
We're not doing well right now. We're not doing well.
Do we have?
Give me the number.
Number 26. Silver Age Lex Luthor.
Yes.
God
yes, we have the only one of those series we need is Shazam.
Okay.
So if it's not a Shazam of the Age series, yep. Number 43, Cyborg.
You know who didn't get an age? Aquaman, number 33.
No ages, just one crying,
just
pale
Aquaman.
white blonde Aquaman. I've got another Golden Age, Mr. Mixie's Plitalick.
Yep, well, we'll be corrected every week.
No, I'm fucking nailing that.
That's gotta be it.
I've been crushing that name.
Number 45, Dr. Light. We talked all about that storyline, so we got that one.
I know we've had Starro because I love this card and the color of it is so fantastic.
It's so good. Well, we have all the ages, so now we have Silver Age Blue Beetle.
Yep, that's card number 1. Oh no, card number 2. Yep. And then my last card, card number 111. Warp. This is our second warp.
All right, outlook not so good. My last one's 97 Hoonigan.
Oh shit! So we got no new cards this week rather.
Okay. All right, guys, we got to get 2 cards each next week. Next time we record.
I told you this might not happen.
Oh,
what do we do? What's our contingency? Do we go online and try to buy the cards just to give someone a set?
That's such a
or does
idea.
Nobody get? You know what? If we don't get the set, we're burning the cards
on camera. That's our first live stream.
Yes. Yeah.
Or we could. What else could we do? I don't even know. We could send it to someone else and they could tell us when they complete it. We send someone homework.
Right, exactly. It's like we're going to pick a lucky a winner. You have to put it back in the
do you guys want to spend your money on completing this set of cards?
Oh, man, this would be so anticlimactic.
Guys, in the Discord, let us know what you want to do with the cards. We'll find out. All right, we got one more recording.
I'll tell you what. We will, because it is only 4 cards, I'll look up to see if we can find those cards online. And
okay.
If they're not insanely expensive.
It'd be so funny if they're like 27 cents.
We'll complete the collection
and
then send it, but it will have an asterisk.
It's so funny. Thing. Yeah, we'll have to mark those cards.
Or if we don't, okay. There's 180 cards.
Yeah.
If we can get 180 listeners to all write reviews, we'll send 1 card to every single person.
So funny.
So the entire KOIcast review thing will have collectively an entire set. And I am sorry, but 2 of you will get checklists.
Guaranteed. You're getting the checklist. And also 1 lucky winner might get a hologram. We'll see if you're good.
I mean, it would be a really fun, we want everybody that we're going to try to have it to get together. We want all 180 people to all come to the same space and bring the cards.
The 5-year anniversary of KOIcast, we all gather.
The end of the world.
That'll be great.
Well, we tried, kids.
All right, we'll find out next week if we get very lucky.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Very lucky next week.
Considering the past couple of weeks, we've had so many.
I remember I had a whole deck.
Yeah.
That was crazy. This was the opposite.
This was rough.
All right, you lovelies. We'll find out in 2 weeks if that deck gets completed as we hit our last of the craziness with this 3-month journey we've been on as we reach its hopefully not anticlimactic end. That is going to do it for this week's KOIcast. Thank you as ever for being here. Let's hope the fire alarm doesn't go off next time. We'll see. Tune in 2 weeks to find out if we survived the as not yet started fire. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you, as always, to Comic Books for existing. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Dragon Wagon.